Good morning, America. How are ya? Monday morning rail. Hi, I'm Denny Jelsma, and I'm at the world-famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, where the sun always shines, and running trains is an absolute pleasure. Show and Tell is always brought to you by Jelsma Graphics, the people that make all the embroidered railroad clothing that you see at hundreds of train shows all over the United States for the last 40 years. Since 1985, Jelsma Graphics has been making embroidered railroad clothing for the railroads, for railroad fans. Go to jelsma.com. That's Jelsma. Shop to your heart's content. Now, this show and tell starts right now, and what we have is a very exciting Southern Pacific train again. Once again, last week I did a Southern Pacific, the San Quentin. Today we have a Southern Pacific train named the Argonaut. Thank you, number two. And the name is from the Greek mythology meaning heroes. And you know, every railroad in the United States had what they called their secondary train going from point A to B. For an example, their Argonaut went from Los Angeles to New Orleans, but the name train was the Sunset Limited. And so about 12 hours later, this particular train that you see here left Los Angeles about 10 to 12 hours later, but it made a whole lot of stops, and it always kind of got the hand-me-down equipment. But the Argonaut was once again a secondary train going to New Orleans. It was typically a heavyweight train, and what I put together here is a E8 Southern Pacific in the old Southern Pacific colors. And a lot of people say, did they ever have one? Yes, SP had one of these, and I just wanted to kind of show it off. And typically there was always in the F units, but they had, I think, maybe two that was painted in the old darker colors. And so I just think it's kind of neat. They're very, very rare engines in HO that you see. And but what I have here is just, it was, once again, it had 2 or 3 coaches. It had a diner. It had 3 or 4 Pullmans, and it had a lounge car. But for an example, it made 101 stops. Can you imagine a train? And it took 54 hours, or almost 55 hours, from New Orleans to Los Angeles, and it stopped everywhere you could imagine. And I just thought it was kind of neat, because a lot of name passenger trains always had their secondary. One comes to mind is the Milwaukee. You think of the Milwaukee Olympia Hiawatha. Its counterpart, or their secondary train, was called the Columbian. And once again, it was it stopped at every stop you could imagine. But can you imagine this train making 101 stops? You could see why, if you could afford it, you rode on the Sunset Limited. And then naturally it was all stainless steel, where this used the old cars. And it had its purpose, because there was a lot of people that just couldn't afford to pay extra to ride the Sunset, and so this train was very important to the traveling public along that whole route. And this train also was very much into the Jim Crow cars, and it just served as an important part of railroad providing service for the traveling people. So the Aragon was a named train of the Southern Pacific, and I know I'm not pronouncing that right all the time, but I thought it was kind of unique, because I researched these trains, and to see that their secondary train was named after the Greek mythology and the heroes, and this was actually very much of a hero of a train for the traveling public in the southern part of the Southwest from New Orleans to Los Angeles. And so that's what I have for show and tell. Remember, stay tuned. We're going to be offering a few very rare items that the museum is going to sell to try to raise some revenue. One of the things that we have is the a very rare book on Baldwin. Is that correct, number two?
Yes.
And we'll be offering that in upcoming shows. So you help the museum, and you could get a very rare item. Now, with all that being said, that's the way it is at the world-famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, where the sun always shines, and running trains is a pleasure.